So welcome. I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription for Your Transformation, Real People, Real Conversations, and Real Success. Happy to be back in Florida once again after being in the Bahamas doing some amazing work with stem cell surgeries, but really happy to be back here today. We had some technical difficulties over there. Sometimes it just simply doesn't want to work. So today I'm talking to a formidable figure, and I say formidable in so many ways, because he's really mastered so many areas of life and in such a level that it's really an inspiration for all of us to follow. Being in a multidimensional approach, in a sense, as a results coach, as a speaker, as a entrepreneur into nutrition, is really walking the talk that all of us can follow. And what's exciting about talking to Luke Wren, and Luke, thank you so much for joining me today. But talking to you today really about how your energy and motivation, that combination, can help us understand the practicality of execution, of vision, as well as work ethic. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today, because that is something that is so lacking in so many people. And as we were talking right before the show, oftentimes people think, you know what, all I have to do is work 4 hours a week and I can be successful. And you and I know that that's not true. I think I am, and I think you are working harder than you did maybe 10, 15 years ago. So welcome to Prescription for Your Transformation.
Well, thank you for the great introduction, Bart. Glad to be here.
And I really mean that. I've known you for quite some time, and you really are quite that formidable figure who also has such a big heart and wants to contribute to the world. And I know you're doing some great things, and so hopefully we'll be able to talk about it. But for right now, let's go ahead and talk about your perspectives on that thing called motivation, as well as energy and health.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when we talk about motivation, I mean, how many people, that are going to be watching this live or see it recorded later or see it used later, or maybe reference this later, most people, when they hear the word motivation nowadays, even if they're in the world of motivation or coaching or speaking or whatever, they're just like, oh, another cliche motivation thing, right? I mean, it's become a buzzword that, I heard, somebody say the other day, and I haven't had time to check if it's true, because most things you hear like this aren't true, but they said, the only word, Googled more than sex is motivation. Because I think we're in a world where everybody's looking for something to motivate them, something to bring out this energy in them, and go, oh, great, now I'm all set for the year. Somebody told me exactly what to do, and I'm motivated. Instead of looking at there's some simple things a person can do. And, one of the things I would ask everybody as you're listening early on in this is I'd ask you one question. Are you where you want to be? Just ask yourself that to yourself one more time. Are you where you ultimately want to be? And if you're not, that should be enough motivation,
Right.
And I think that's why we tie it into vision so much, because if you can't create a compelling vision, it's like the good book says, without vision, people perish. And I've never had a client I've ever worked with, I've never ran into anybody, I've never ran into a mentor that had a clear, concise, exciting vision that really, excited them, that they knew they were going to have to stretch to get there, that was low on motivation, right? But I have seen people, anybody struggling with motivation, they haven't got clear that they're not where they want to be. They're saying, oh, I'm doing good here, I'm doing good there, well, what do you want? Do you want good, or do you want to be outstanding? And I think that's where, when we come to motivation, everybody's looking at, like social media is so big right now, right? I think it's the advertising means of the world, as people are joining us on this, and people are going to watch this later. I mean, it's such a great resource, but people are misusing it. They're looking for other people to motivate them instead of using that as additional guidance and mentorship and a little extra energy every day, and then going, I motivate me. Motivation, I love the way Zig Ziglar always said it. It's the one that's always stuck in my head. Motivation's like bathing or brushing your teeth. It's recommended daily. You got to do it AFT all the effing time, right?
Right.
It's not something that you can set down. It's something when you feel your motivation drop, you got to go, am I at where I want to be? No. well, what do I need to change and do to go get there? You know, and I think that's the real answer to motivation that some people don't want to hear, but it's not reading quotes. Now, I believe in, I listen to 30 minutes to 60 minutes or more of content a day as part of my practice, right? Because if I don't add value to me, how can I add value to other people? I believe in
Right.
reading positive quotes. I believe
Right.
in listening to powerful music and everything else. But I ultimately believe your motivation will always be more up and down if you don't get clear on asking yourself, am I where I want to be? And if not, that should be enough motivation.
What's interesting is that, the two key questions that I always ask, my clients when I coach them is, and this is a great question or, one of the greatest questions that Tony Robbins always asks, who are you? Who am I? What's my identity? And I think the big challenge today is that people don't really know who they are. And besides that, just like you said, they're not clear as to what they really want. And part of the problem that I sometimes see is that, there's so much negativity around them. And so instead of focusing on, what's great or what's good or what's right, they're focusing on what's wrong. And I think that holds back people back, tremendously. And one of their ways, they're the way they try to hack it, if you will, is by taking all sorts of drugs or coffee or stimulants to get their motivation. But you and I know that's not going to work. And you are definitely that energy and health guru. I mean, just look at you. I mean, I've known you for years, and you're the epitome of health and strength. But also, if you're not healthy and you're not strong, then it's going to take a toll on your own motivation. So talk to us a little bit about that. What's your perspective on making sure that you've got that energy? And yes, motivation can feed that energy, but if your temple is not, functioning correctly, then you're going to have a hard time.
Yeah, I mean that's so well said, and I love the way you asked it. And as you know, this is definitely my wheelhouse, and I love it because I believe that energy is the commodity. I love the way our mentor Tony Robbins says it is. You know, you either can, you know, you can either make a day feel like a decade or a decade feel like a day based on your energy. We all have the friend that walks into the room and 5 minutes feels like 5 hours. And we all have the friend that 5 hours feels like 5 minutes and you're like, give me more. And I believe energy is that commodity that nowadays, like you said, motivation and energy, everybody's searching for it everywhere else. Like we said, they're following other people and looking at everybody else's life instead of creating an interesting life themselves. Then they go to energy drinks and all these different things to give themselves that false energy, that false vitality. And you got to ask yourself, when you're looking at things, I would ask everybody right now on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your energy? 1 being, I can't get out of bed in the morning. 10 is, I'm off the planet and can't stop. At the end of the day, not the beginning of your shift, at the end of your shift, do you feel that way? That would be a 10. When somebody looks at you and goes, how do you do it day in and day out? That would be a 10. But where are you? Get clear on where you're at. I always believe it's important, and I know you do as well, is we always talk about that, right? We were talking about that when, right before this live is, you got to get clear where you're at. So where are you energy-wise? And be real. You can lie to us, you can lie to your friends, but be honest with yourself. The truth will set you free, right? Estonio, the truth will set you free. So you got to be honest, where is your energy? And then you got to ask yourself, I got another question I'd like you to ask yourself. What in your life would not be better, more enjoyable, and beautiful with more energy?
I love that question.
People go, Luke, energy isn't everything. Yes, it is. It is the only thing, because if you don't have the energy to do something, how are you going to add value to others? How are you going to serve a purpose? How are you going to serve a mission? Will you close that, please? Sorry about that. Somebody had opened a door here. I'm in the car office because we were on the go today. So I apologize for that, guys. They left the door wide open. But the thing is if it's not everything, what can you do without it? Let's take your health, your vitality, and your energy away tomorrow. And I know that we've talked about this before. I know the exciting things you're working on, Bart, that are just mind-blowing to me. And beforehand, I'm like, well, let's not talk about me. What's going on with that? Tell me more about that. And wanting to know more about that, because I'm the guy that wants to know, how can I get more every day? Because I know if I have that energy, I can go and go and go and go and go, and I can put into a day what most people put into a week. I can go to bed late, and I can wake up early, and I don't drag myself out of bed. I hop out of bed, right? Because we talked about vision. When you have that vision, if you have a vision that keeps you up late and wakes you up early, you're not going to run low on energy, But you've got to do those things, and so many people go, I don't know what to do. I mean, have you had people tell you this? Well, what do I do to increase my energy? I don't know what to do. In today's world, guys, that's a bunch of BS, because all you have to do is Google it. How to increase my energy, how to eat properly, how to move, how to whatever. And I love the way I always told people this. They go, well, Luke, I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to eat. I don't know how to work out. Really? So if I had a gun to your head, you couldn't do it. If I said, hey, the person you care about most in this world is gone tomorrow. If you can't tell me how you're going to get fit, energetic, healthy in the next 90 days, you won't be able to be resourceful and figure it out, because people shut down because their energy is so terrible. They're not in a state of resourcefulness, because when your energy is low, all your resources are low.
Right.
And so many people get in that resource, and it's what you just touched on, the I am statements. I am love, I am passion, I am blessed, I am grateful, I am Superman. And if you say those types of things to yourself every day, which you can tell I've said those before, those are mine, but when you catch yourself down, we all have a down moment. People go, Luke, well, do you ever have a bad day? Do you ever have low energy? Of course, but that's where you start building the muscle, is going, hey, am I doing everything I can to increase my energy? And the more you feel the day where your energy's down, you start doing your checklist. Have I been breathing? What's my posture? How's my water? How's my nutrition? What's my proximity? Have I been hanging around energetic people today? And you start doing those self-checks. But energy, in my mind, I don't think anybody that can argue it with a good cause that it is everything. Because I've never met a successful person that was great at what they did if they were low on energy. Because you and I both know, we already talked about the delusion of the 4-hour work week. I've seen Tim Ferriss. He doesn't work 4 hours a week.
No, he does not.
He's as successful as he is, and working 4 hours a week, you might as well go back to bed. You are never going to be successful at anything in 4 hours a week. And I think nowadays, so many people are working hard. It's the nature of us, right? That you want to work hard to find an easy way. And you know what? I forget who said this or who coined it, but fail faster. So many people, I think, are afraid to take action and do things. And well, what if this doesn't increase my energy? What should I do? Here's the key, guys. Do something. Even if it's the wrong thing, all you have to do is ask yourself, well, did that increase my energy? Nope. Okay, try something else. And if you fail faster in increasing your energy, you'll have more energy and vitality. It was like I did a bonus video for some of my subscribers last week, and I said, hey, here's the 3 keys to doubling your energy now. In just a few minutes, you can double your energy. Here's the 3 things. And I said, but I'll give you a bonus video later that will tell you how to increase your energy like that every single day. And I said, do those 3 things all the time, because it's going to the gym. It's having to lift the weight. If you want more energy, I think the ultimate formula is give and you shall receive. And I think so many people wonder, how can I get energy? And they don't realize it's a muscle you build by taking action and doing things to improve your energy. And over time, you build more muscle, you build more strength. I didn't get this energy you see overnight. I've been crazy for 38 years now, but I feel more energetic at 38 than I do at 21, because my wife and I, we just got body work done. We just did cryotherapy. We look for every little 2 millimeters on top of the basic things to get your energy, because we know we'll be able to become more, do more, and serve more.
Spot on all that. I mean, there's nothing that I can add except for one thing, and I have to totally agree with you. And this is one of the challenges that I think so many people have. And that quote, fail forward, That's from Peter DeMantis in his book Bold. And he specifically says, fail quickly, fail forward, and fail often. And so many people are just so frightened to do that. They're in their comfort zone. they're too scared to leave that comfort zone and try something different and potentially be embarrassed or feel stupid, that they failed at something. And the biggest challenge that we have in a way is that we're overwhelmed with so much information. And a lot of information is useless, by the way. So even if you do search on Google, you're not going to know if something's worthwhile enough. But what you said is absolutely true. You got to try it out. And the only way you can find out if it's going to work is you have to try it out. And if it doesn't work, try something else. And the key there, more importantly, I think, for people to realize is that everybody's body is different. Everybody's DNA is different. You're not going to respond. I'm not going to respond the same way as you are. And so I could take all your ideas and none of them will work only because I'm a different person. I have to find something else. I have to check in and evaluate and not just simply give up and just think, your stuff isn't good enough, because I actually know it's really great. But other people give up too quickly and don't get, what they want in life. And, it's so true. And I think so many people don't, have that one single thought that you started off with, is that, if you had 10 times more of the energy right now, what more can you accomplish in life? And that's a no-brainer. So why wouldn't you do something about it?
Yeah, and I love the way you said it, and another way of saying it is failing with enthusiasm and just realizing, Bart, did all the things great in your life come overnight? Did all of a sudden you tried one thing and boom, there it was? And when you talk to most entrepreneurs, when you talk to anybody that builds anything worthwhile or has any level of success at anything, whether it's a relationship, a business, their health, whatever it may be, they failed repeatedly. I remember we were at a business mastery program, and they were interviewing the Airbnb CEO. Right. And most people know Airbnb now, oh, I wish it was that guy. Not own a single property and have more revenue than the top hotel brands in the world. But what they don't realize is that idea failed over and over and over. The original idea was to have an air mattress in your place and rent it out at conventions that are oversold. And how many people would go, oh, yeah, I'll come sleep on your floor on an air mattress, right?
Right.
And it failed. And they continued to, as you said, like Peter Diamandis in the book, fail forward. Fail and keep going. Fail and keep going. And that's where your vision's got to really come into play and go, what do I really want? Am I where I want to be? And if I'm not, that's my motivation. But get clear, where do I want to go? If I say, great, hey, get on a plane, I'll meet you. You'd have to know where I'm landing. But you'd also need to know where you're taking off from, or you can't book the ticket. But people are living their lives not knowing where they are, not knowing where they want to go, and wondering why they're struggling for motivation to do something about their energy, so they have the energy to get to where they want to go. Yep. So it's so key. And some people go, you're making this sound so simple. And the one thing I love about that, why I brought up work ethic when we were talking before this, was, yes, it is very simple. The things in life isn't complicated. It's simple. I mean, I always break it down this way. I always say, if you're talking to somebody and they're making things sound complicated, complexity is the enemy of success, right? The successful people I look up to, that, the people that really have changed the face of the earth, break things down to the common person and make them simple. Yep. And the unsuccessful people I know make simple things sound really complicated. And that's, when you think about it, I would ask everybody, think about the last thing you felt stuck on. It was probably something simple that you made complex. Like when people go, well, I don't know what to do with my health. Well, if you didn't know what to do, would walking every day be a good start? Would maybe drinking some water be a good start? You know some simple things you can do, but instead you find the complexity in it to hold you from action. And I think that's the key, is break down that it's really simple, but here's the ingredient that you need to make it work. You need to work. In order for it to work, you must work. It doesn't work if you don't work. Your energy isn't there if you don't go to work. Your health isn't there if you don't go to work. Some people go, I don't want a relationship. That's work. Yeah, it will be hard work. but will it be worth it? Everything you work hard at, you build self-esteem, you build more muscle, and you have a greater level of fulfillment. I've never met somebody that if something came easy, they had zero fulfillment, and the motivation lasted, and the reward lasted very little, very short.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because, I trained for 17 years before I could open my practice. And now I've been in practice for about 18 years. And what's different, about me than many other physicians, I think, is that early on in my med school, when I started when I was 17, and by the age of 21, 22, I kind of mapped out my entire life, and I knew that I was going to do a lot more than just being a surgeon. But what I want to share with you, Luke, right now is that I sort of am telling myself I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. And that's great. And because it's hard work, it is a commitment. You try things out, you learn from other people, and get inspired by people like yourself. And I know you're a speaker and you're a coach, and you do all sorts of different things, and you're very passionate, and I can tell that passion. In fact, you're boosting up my energy there for a moment, which is great. And that's what people need to do. They need to find people like yourself so that they can understand, what does it take to get the results that they want in life, and have the courage to just, go out there and not be sucked in the hypnotism or the being hypnotized, if you will, to, what's happening, with all the distractions and the media and everything else, because it's easy to get lost in all of that. It's simply as an escape. If you have to self-actualize yourself. If you want to have that phenomenal or outstanding life, as you started off with, it's up to you. And if you don't get it, that's also up to you. I mean, you are responsible for your thoughts. You're responsible for your actions, and you can't blame anybody else. And I really love the way that Tony Robbins says it, is that whether the economy is up or whether the economy is down, so many people will blame that for their lack of fortune in life. And the only one responsible for that is you. And having the techniques that you help people with, will clearly make a difference.
Yeah, and you said it so well that people are looking somewhere else the whole time instead of, one of my mentors always told me your greatest coaching tool is the mirror.
Right.
At the end of the day, can you stare yourself in the eyes and say, I gave that day every damn piece of energy I had. I gave it everything I got, because you can win a game and feel bad, and you can lose a game and feel great if you gave it all you got. Because life, some people go, I was listening to some motivation stuff the other day, some of the mentors I follow, and they said, it's just a game. It's just a job. It's just life. What if you take the justs out of it? It's a game. It's life. How different does that change things? And when you realize it's life, it's a journey, not a destination. I think so many people think they're going to crack the code and figure out life. But in today's world, as you and I know, especially with the things you're working on, the world is changing now faster than ever. We're in a world of adaptation. It isn't get a job and you're set for 30 years. And I would say to most people, if they're struggling on their motivation or their energy, if I ask them, what do you do? And they say, my job is this, I know they're probably struggling, because I've always been mission driven. Like, is what I'm doing matter? Does it matter?
Yeah.
If I wasn't doing what I was doing, would it matter?
Right.
Figure out some way you can tie into what you do, serving a purpose larger than yourself. So you're not going to work just for yourself every day. You're going to work for something much larger. Do you have a vision, a mission, a passion? Are you living with passion, or are you just living? Because if you're just living, that's existing. That's the minimum. And I always find it funny nowadays that people are watching everybody else's life instead of creating their own. If you're scrolling Facebook regularly, great, it's a great way to check in, connect with your friends. I'm not against it. I use it. But you scroll it 15 minutes a day, you build your life the other 23 3/4. that's, like you said, you got to go to work and just really, develop what you want. And I think, ask yourself when you get off this call, am I at where I want to be? What is my vision? You go, oh, I don't know. Well, an imperfect vision today would be better than a perfect one tomorrow. And so many people worry about getting it right. I've been wrong so many times in my life. I'm not the bright kid. I was not a great student. I got through college because once I got in a career that I loved, I paid attention, I got great grades. I realized it wasn't the class. I just didn't like being in classes that I wasn't passionate about. And I think a lot of things other people struggle with, and I'm sure you get this on a regular basis, but, Bart, you're so lucky. You know what you wanted to do at 22. You're out on a plan. You knew what it was. I don't know. I don't have that X factor. You don't get it, Luke. I don't have that energy. And what you got to ask yourself is, what do people tell you that you're naturally good at? Everybody was put here with a purpose. Everybody has an X factor, and it's our journey of life to figure out what is my X factor that I have to share with the world. Then get really excited, get really clear, create that vision. Energy won't be the problem, but realize along the way, you're going to have to build more muscle. You're going to have to do those things that take care of your energy. Like, I always tell people here, I'll give you a few just right now. If you go, I don't know what to do with my energy. Number one, what's your posture? Today, most people are working on the phones, and they're constantly forward on computers and phones, and then you got to stand up to take a breath, and they wonder why they're not breathing. So what's your posture? Is your shoulders and chest back? Is your chest lifted so that you can breathe easy and deep, so that your body can be oxygen rich and loaded and ready to go? And then that brings us to the next one. When you're in good posture, it's much easier to breathe. There's nothing more vital than oxygen to the human body or the brain. If you're looking to think and create a vision, you need more oxygen. And then, your body's 70% water, but all your vital organs are over 90% water. But yet I find people filling up on the fake energy, the energy drinks, the coffees, the cappuccino, the mochaccino. Starbucks has built a beautiful brand charging people for cups of acid. And then they go, oh, I don't have money to eat healthy. I know you got money to eat healthy because all I have to do is drive by the fast food chains and Starbucks in the morning, and I know those people have money or they wouldn't be in the line. So, I guess it's just people really being real with you and going, am I where I want to be? And what's one step? It's not about how you're going to get there now. It's about create it and keep that vision here. And when you get off this call or this live, take the first step. That's the hardest one. Health or whatever. How can somebody be overweight for 40 years of their life and all of a sudden lose 100 pounds? Because they took the first step. And once you take that first step, the second one's easier, the second one's easier, they go, but I'm not good at that. Well, bullshit, guys. I'm sorry about the language, but it is. And, when you think about it, when you were a child, what if you would have went to take a step and you fell on your ass and you didn't get back up? None of us would be walking. We fell and got up, 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 and we eventually learned how to walk. Then all of a sudden we got educated, like you alluded to, living in the box, thinking in the box, go get conformed to society, and next thing you know, you're in the box. And all the energy is outside the box.
Yeah.
You get in your box, you drive in your box, you get home, you stare at your box, eat out of a box, you're going to end up in a box. So what you got to do is think outside the box. You got to look. What I would tell you is proximity is power. That's one thing I learned from Farmer Mentor Tony. Proximity is power. And you got to ask yourself, who am I spending time with? If you have crap energy, you're probably spending time with 5 people that have crap energy.
Right.
And, you got to go, who do I need to be spending time with? Who's already at where I want to go? Even if you can't spend personal time with them, now utilize social media to your advantage.
Exactly.
I follow 5 to 7 people religiously every day that are in the direction I want to go. I'm doing good things, but they're making mine look like, minnows in a pond, and I'm going, okay, I'm going to watch them. And I don't have to ask them. All I have to do is success leaves clues. And so all you do is you get proximity to 5 to 7 people online that are already at where you want to go.
Yep.
And start paying attention.
Right.
And then start copying what they're doing, and you'll be there before you know it. And that's how you really want to use technology nowadays to your advantage, not for entertainment, but for education, the motivation, the learning, the drive to get to where you want to go. Make it part of the vision. Make it part of building the muscle.
And for anybody listening right now, I mean, you're watching the perfect model to model and get inspired and understand what it is that you need to do. And how do people find you, Luke?
They can go. My new website's up. The latest version. They had a few glitches in it. Will be up actually next Monday, but they can just go to Luke Wren, LukeWren.com, and on there, they can, I got a few free things they can get on there. The PDF, like I was talking about, the 3 things you can do to double your energy now. Feel free to go there, shoot me a message. And if somebody's one of those serious persons, the strategy session isn't for anybody, but if somebody's one of those if you're one of those people that you're working really hard, you're driving and there's more out there, but you're just struggling on how to get there, on my website as well, they can schedule a strategy session. One of my team will reach out to them and get that, set and confirmed for them as well, a 20-minute strategy session where we can get clear where you're at, where you want to go, and add some value in that 20 minutes.
Love it. That's exactly what people need to do. Reach out to you, find out, what they can do in a strategy session, and then at least that will be the first step that they need to take and towards their own success. Well, Luke, it's been great talking to you. I think we could talk on for hours, but the whole idea is to keep this short. I think we went over time a little bit, and certainly would like to invite you back once again and perhaps get more people, involved and really talk about, what are the things that people can do for themselves to become sort of more self-actualized or to become more self-actualized and find and tap into the resources that really are out there for energy and health and motivation. And the truth is, as you say, most people don't have that compelling future. And the truth is that they actually do have it. They're just not aware of it. And as you said, where's the passion? Do what you love to do, and everything else comes naturally. Today, my focus more than anything else, I love what I do. And I'm passionate about creating change, enhancing life, and creating a peaceful awareness. Because once we're aware, the life is so much better. So I really want to thank you for tonight. I know it was a challenge for you, and you're traveling, but you took the time, and I really appreciate that. We were actually supposed to do a live radio, but because of all the weather changes, I couldn't make it back in time. But Luke, share with us just some parting words of wisdom that people can go home with and start making that first step.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Bart, and I'll come back anytime you want me. I love and respect you, and I'm very interested to keep learning more about the great things you're doing. So anytime you need me, you have me. And you guys, in closing, what I would say is, really get clear with yourself. I asked you a couple questions in the beginning, and chances are most people didn't write it down. Take the time right now and write it down.
Yep.
Are you at where you want to be? Right, yes or no? And if not, tell me, and get in a great physical state. If you can tell when I speak why this went long, is I get on rants and I'm using my hand, and because physiology comes first. It does matter. It builds your energy. And people go, but I can't run. And if I put you in a room with a tiger, you'd run. And you'd run a lot faster than you thought you could, but you're lacking the motivation because you haven't taken the time to get clear on where you are on energy on a scale of 1 to 10, where you're at right now. Are you there? Yes or no? And then put yourself in a powerful state, change your physiology, and do a couple jumping jacks or push-ups or go for a sprint outside, come back in and go, where do I want to be? And if you don't have the answer, ask it again and ask it again. Sometimes you might have to ask yourself 7 or 8 times a good question to get the right answer and get clear on that. What you're going to find, that those simple steps that you can do in less than 5 to 10 minutes, guys, could be the first step you need into transforming your life to what it deserves to be. Because we all have something to share with the world.
Yep.
But the problem is most of us use excuses and we play small. Don't be the person that plays small. Be the person that steps up, raise your standards from now on, do those few simple steps, and what you'll find is you'll start gaining momentum, and it's a beautiful thing. But do that every day for the next 30 days. Don't just do it tonight, because you got to remind yourself every day. It's not doing it one time. Successful people do the simple things every single day, every single moment. And every time you feel that energy or motivation drop, go right back and do it again.
Hey, Luke, thank you so much. I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription for Your Transformation. Real people, real conversations, real success, bring to you new voices and new solutions. And to find out the things that you didn't know that's going to make all the difference. Talking to Luke Wren, you can find him on lukewren.com. And I really look forward to further conversations with you because I know you're a formidable man. You contribute immensely to the world in many different events. And I look forward to future talks. So thank you so much.